All right, welcome to Locked and Loaded Training Center. My name is James Scroggins. I'm the General Manager and Range Master here at Locked and Loaded. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak to you today. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I started my law enforcement career in 1999 with the Hood County Sheriff's Office. I spent 5 years on patrol and 2 years as a detective for a total of about 8 years. The 2 years that I was a detective, I became a forensic data recovery technician, a crime scene technician, and a crime scene photographer, digital crime scene photographer. In 2007, I took a job with the Fort Worth Marshal's Office. I spent the next 14 years of my law enforcement career with the Fort Worth Marshal's Division. In 2016, I became a Master Peace Officer. I then immediately enrolled myself into the TCOL instructor program. Once I became certified to teach cops, I enrolled myself in the Fort Worth Police Department Firearms Instructor Program. Now, that firearm instructor program is touted to be one of the hardest in the nation. I only say that because they pounded it into me whenever I was there. Do I know that it's the hardest in the nation? No. I've only been to one firearms instructor program. That was it, and it was pretty hard. After becoming certified to teach at the Police Academy on the Fort Worth Police Department's range, I became a patrol rifle instructor, patrol shotgun instructor. I'm a Glock armorer, an AR-15 armorer, and a shotgun armorer. Now that you know me, let me tell you a little bit about Locked and Loaded Training Center. So what is Locked and Loaded Training Center? Locked and Loaded Training Center is a computer-based digital training facility. We have no live fire on our ranges, nor do we have any ammunition. We use simulated realistic weapon platforms. Our simulated realistic platforms used compressed gas systems or green gas. The green gas is nothing more than butane with silicone added into it, so it lubricates the action whenever it's utilized. And yes, it does have simulated recoil and its simulated report. We have multiple simulated weapon platforms, including the Sig Sauer M17, which is what the military is issuing to what the government is issuing to the military currently. The H&K USP9, Staccato 2011, which is the updated 1911. It just has a double stack 45 caliber magazine. The Sig Sauer P320, which is a very popular concealed carry weapon. The Colt 1911, Glock 17. We also have the AR-15 platform, as well as we've recently added a pump shotgun. Now, our computer system utilizes different training modules. These training modules contain skill building exercises in them, whether the participant knows it or not. Each one of the training modules teaches a different skill, like target tracking, shooting at moving, and threat identification. Now, some of the training modules can seem kind of gamey, but you are still learning a skill set whenever you are playing the games. I don't like using the term play, but it is playing the game. Now, you utilize all of these training modules and gain the skill sets so you can eventually get to what we call the video scenario trainer. The video scenario trainer is real live people in real situations, subjecting yourself to stress and to higher thinking and taking action. So you're subjected to different scenarios to where you actually have to interact with them. If you don't interact with them, it's just going to play out and you're not actually gaining any training out of it. So you're encouraged as a participant to interact, because once you start interacting, the instructor can change the scenario based on the reaction of the student. Now, if the student doesn't react, it's always going to go to a threat. But if the student does actually do some type of de-escalation, some type of communication, there is a in real-time way to change the outcome of the video based on the input from the subject. Now, the video scenario training is mainly designed to set off your body alarm response. Your body alarm response is something that's your fight or flight that you have built in you. Everybody has it, whether they know it or not, or whether they like it or not. For me, my body alarm response sounds off on spiders. I'm really scared of spiders, and every time I get near them, I freeze up, and my body just does not operate well. That's the idea behind the video scenario training. is to subject yourself to something that is a crisis that you have to deal with right then and there, so you know how your body's going to respond, so you can train to fight through that fear and make those good decisions. Now, this is what I'm talking about whenever I say making those good decisions. Put yourself in this scenario. The scenario is you just left your house, you're walking down your sidewalk to your car, and you're confronted.
No, I don't have any money. Please get off my property. Please just leave. Really? Please just leave. No, get off my property. I don't have a dog. Please, hey, I am armed. Stay back.
All right, man, just give it all to me then. Give me all your money.
Now, in real life, you don't always have the ability to push pause when life happens right in front of you. In this particular scenario, somebody confronted me on my property. They were asking for money. I asked them to leave several times. He continued to ask me for money. He then presented a weapon. I took a step back. I told him to get off my property, that I am armed, and to get away. Then he advanced on me. In this particular scenario, I made the decision to terminate the threat. In real life, if this was to happen, I would have a jury of 12 armchair quarterbacking my decision to stop that threat, and they would be determining whether I get to go home or if I have lost my freedom. So now that we've gotten through with who and what, you got to ask yourself why. Why was this place built? Well, I took this stat off of the National Center for Education Statistics. Since Columbine in 1999, we've had a spike in school shootings. This graph shows the number of school shootings from 2000 to 2022. And now since 2000, we've had a severe spike all the way up to 2007, 2008-ish. Then after that, we started getting a little better. But then eventually in 2013 and 2014, things got exponentially worse. They've gotten so bad that in 2022, we've had 318 school shootings in the United States. Now, I'm not going to armchair quarterback this situation because I was not there and I was not involved, but I believe in my heart that we can all agree that that was an utter failure of the responding police to that situation and how they handled that situation. That's what brought about the Texas House Bill 3. Texas House Bill 3 was ratified in June of 2023 and then put into effect in September of 2023. House Bill 3 ensures public school safety. The bill comes in direct response to that shooting, the Uvalde shooting, where there's 19 children and 2 adults that were needlessly killed. House Bill 3 puts a requirement to post an armed security officer at every school and provide mental health training for certain district employees. Now, we send our kids to school to be educated. We ask our teachers to educate our children. Nowadays, we are not only asking our teachers to educate our children, but we're also asking them to protect our children. In 2013, the Texas legislature put a program together called the Texas Guardian Program. The Texas Guardian Program allows certain members that go through a minimal training to be armed at our schools. The program allows anyone designated by a local school board to carry a firearm on campus, and that includes all members of staff. The Guardian Plan does not have the same level of mandated training requirements as school marshals or school resource officers, but at least the School Guardian program allows for those school districts to utilize this program, especially with the ones that can't afford to pay the sheriff's office, pay the police department, or pay for private security. Pay attention to your top left-hand corner. Now this is the West Freeway Church of Christ shooting that happened December 29th, 2019. That was Jack Wilson that ended that assailant's life. That assailant came into the building. He was confronted by a deacon. The deacon followed him to his chair. A second deacon, member of the church security group, sat down with him. The assailant stood up, brandished a sawed-off shotgun, shot the first security group that was reaching for his gun, shot the second deacon that originally confronted him, and then Jack Wilson from about 35 feet away took a single shot and ended the assailant's life. Now Jack Wilson is a commissioner over in Hood County where I live. He also used to own a gun range called On Target in Whiskey Flats. Jack Wilson also has a gun range on his own property. Not only does Jack Wilson go to the gun range and does target practice, getting down fundamentals, but I also believe that Jack Wilson does training as well, pulling out of his holster, getting on target, doing more than just the bare minimum. Since Columbine in 1999, there have been 24 different church shootings across the United States. 4 of those church shootings have been here in Texas, and the worst one with the most casualties was the Sutherland Springs Church, which is just outside of Houston. Not only are Christian churches being targeted, but also other religious institutes as well. Synagogues, monasteries, temples, and even an Amish school. So you've gotten who, and that's me, and that's locked and loaded. You've gotten what, and what we are. You've gotten why. So let's ask, who can use this? Well, the owner of this building and the person that put this together, Keith Nichols, has such a huge heart for his community. He originally built that first range for church security groups, and he wanted them to use it for free. He then added the School Guardian program and wanted them to use it for free. Well, if he's going to let the school guardians use it, he wants the school marshals to use it for free as well. He also wants the school resource officers and Texas Commission peace officers to utilize this software system for free so they have the training. And that's one thing, as being an instructor, that I can tell you that you cannot get enough of is training. Now, going out to your local gun range and doing target practice is good. It absolutely is good for finding your fundamentals, for getting down sight picture, sight alignment, trigger control, recoil management. It is absolutely fundamental, but that's not training, that's target practice. This is training. It gives you skills that you can use in real life situations. Who else is this for? Your Texas carriers, those of us that decide to carry a firearm with us everywhere we go, every day. In Texas, we have a license to carry, whether concealed or open. This training is useful for those carriers. Constitutional carriers. You might ask yourself, what is that? In 2021, the Texas legislature made it able to anybody in Texas can constitutionally carry a firearm, so you don't need a license to carry a firearm in the state of Texas. This training is meant for these people that make the decisions to carry every single day. Whenever you do make that decision to carry every day, a crisis can present itself in front of you. Since you are armed, you have the choice to either get involved or don't get involved. And utilizing this training will help you work through the fears that you will encounter when you are faced with the crisis. Now, we offer our range time 30-minute increments or an hour increment. For 30 minutes, it's $19.95 for one shooter. For 60 minutes, it's $29.95 for one shooter, and each extra shooter is $9.95. So what do we offer? We offer entertainment. It is entertainment for those of us that do enjoy the sport of firearms. Not only do we offer entertainment, we also offer education in weapons handling. We treat our ranges just as like they are a public range. We treat every weapon as if they are actually loaded. On top of entertainment and education in weapon handling, you get skill building. Skill building leads to weapon platform familiarization because we have many different weapon platforms. We also offer youth introduction into all of these skills, as well as competitive practice. Here in Dublin, we have an extreme fast draw association club called the Dublin Renegades. They utilize our range to practice at, so they don't spend so much money on the simunition that they use in their competitions. What else do we offer? We actually offer firearm training. We have an NRA basic handgun instructor. His name is Jim Seitz. He is currently putting out a school called the NRA Pistol Marksmanship Simulator Trainer Course. It's a basic course that introduces you into our platforms, as well as giving you some fundamentals of marksmanship. In the future, we hope to have an NRA basic handgun course. Although that course does implement a live fire exercise in it, we do not currently have access to a live fire range, but in the future we hope to, so we can offer that. What do I bring as far as training? Well, after I became a Fort Worth firearms instructor, I put myself through about 16 different schools throughout the state of Texas and different trainers. I did that out of my own pocket. I took off time from work. I paid for the bullets myself. After I went through all of the schooling, I brought that knowledge and skills to the Fort Worth Marshal's office, and I developed the entire firearms program for the Fort Worth Marshal's office. I am bringing some of those schools that I built for them here to Locked and Loaded Training Center. I have a basic handgun proficiency school that is specifically meant to give and target coming out of from a holstered weapon and on target and ending threats. That's the first thing that has to happen whenever you make the decision to get involved with a crisis and you decide to use deadly forces. You have got to get that thing out of the holster. So that particular basic handgun proficiency will teach you to come out of that holster, get on target. I have an intermediate handgun proficiency course that concentrates on the Pow versus Margate case law. The United States Supreme Court has mandated that every peace officer in the United States from East Coast to West Coast shall be trained under the Pow versus Margate case law. If the United States Supreme Court states that the peace officers shall be trained on this, those of us that make the decision to carry every day should be trained in these areas. That training specific is moving and shooting, shooting at moving, shooting while moving, and shooting at night. If you read that case law, you understand the things that went wrong in it and why the Supreme Court mandates that peace officers shall be trained in these areas. I also have a low light encounters course, a covert carry course, an introduction to AR-15, a basic AR-15, and I have submitted my application to the state of Texas to be a licensed to carry instructor. Since I'm a TCOL instructor, it should be just a blessing because I have already exceeded the requirements for instructions and being a firearms instructor on the TCOL level. With that, that's the end of my presentation. Do you have any questions? And would you like a demonstration? A live demonstration?